You know when you see someone poorly attempt something that is so clearly out of their skill set that it's just an exercise in futility, like an 8-year-old trying to dunk, or your drunk mate trying to find someone who's clearly bigger than them? You just want to walk up to them and say, maybe this one isn't for you, champ. You know what's even worse? When there's someone there encouraging the person to attempt the impossible, asking, if it's a f***ing smash it! I saw it this week. Coalition MP Michelle Landry accused Albanese of bullying her in question time, a transparently pathetic attempt to cash in on the cultural shadow Scott Morrison's government's interpersonal problems cast over politics, but playing the Uno reverse card. And the press were there like an encouraging mum. You can do it, Michelle. Go on, get one on elbow. SMH journo David Crow writing, Albanese accused of bullying as Coalition MP Michelle Landry leaves question time in tears. I'm sorry to do this, but to go all Reddit, Thorth. In this article, he says Deputy Leader Susan Lee was the one that told Parliament that Landry left in tears. Susan Lee, the woman that changed her name because of her belief in numerology. You know, the belief in an occult, divine, or mystical relationship between a number and one or more coinciding events. And no, I didn't get that definition and info about numerology from Lee. I got it from Wikipedia. A much stronger source than that nut. If Susan Lee's the Sydney Morning Herald's only source for this headline, they may as well just start writing, Anthony Albanese's evil black heart confirmed as he only has 2 A's in his name. Oh wait, there's 3 A's! Ah! Can you really trust a man that has a name that, according to the ancient mystical power of numbers and some drunk hag from Albury, means he's a bully? You guys ready to see Albo's heinous crime? The act so vile it made veteran Coalition MP of a decade leave Parliament in tears, the same one that defended the infamous Coalition desk wanker. Oh, you're not? Well, that's good because I need a cold open. Imagine if Albo was on Vorsh's show. How funny would that be, guys? Hey, Vorsh, how you going? Well, first we have to get into the definitions of going. Are you asking about my means of transport? Are you asking me how I'm going in an emotional, metaphysical sense? It's a very open-ended question, and no matter what answer I give, Twitter is going to come up with the most uncharitable reading of what I said. No, I don't really know who you are. I'm just part of a bit that not many people will get, filling up time in a Geordie video because his team is out of ideas. Okay, now we can watch the video about the most sexist man in Australia, Albo.
My question is to the Prime Minister. The federal government is intending to delay $800 million of Commonwealth funding to construct the Rockhampton Ring Road by at least 2 years.
This is boring. Just get to the bullying already.
As Infrastructure Minister, there was substantial investment went into Rockhampton roads, particularly Yeppan floodplain, which we funded.
So here's where Dutton, proud Queenslander, interjects, attempting to correct Albo's pronunciation of Yeppan, but are you ready for some facts and logic?
Did the planning for...
Members on my left.
Yeppan floodplain. Yeppoon's a different place. Yeppoon's a different place. And you might want to ask the member for Capricornia.
She's laughing. That's apparently the exchange that caused her to break down in tears. Talk about crying wolf. But even then, if you're going to cry wolf, at least cry. Don't laugh.
Because Yeppoon is on the coast north of Rockhampton, and Yeppan floodplain is to the south. It's the southern entry of the Bruce Highway into Rockhampton. Queenslander! Queenslander!
Members on my right.
Says it all.
Sucked in, Dutton. And how good is Little Proud's face? Can we just zoom in on him? Look at his dim little eyes lighting up as soon as Albo says Queenslander. Footy. That was a massive smackdown for Dutton, as he just demonstrated that he, as a Queenslander, knew less about Queensland than a guy from Marrickville, mistaking Yeppan floodplain with Yeppoon. And in case you're wondering, yep, I definitely knew the difference between those two. Let's carry on. But then, after this exchange, Michelle Landry trots out to the Parliament House Green, followed by the rest of the Liberal women, holding a mini press conference where she accuses Albo of bullying her because he responded to Dutton interjecting and incorrectly correcting him. First off, look at this picture. What is it with being in the Liberal Party and having jowls? Can you tell the difference between these two photos? I can't. And journos, before you write a bunch of articles about me being very sexist and making fun of women's appearances, just know I'm not done yet. Wouldn't want you to have to rewrite your article. And also, I'll give you some extra tips. Make sure that you say that I said that Susan Lee looks like a frog and Lee Sales looks like a rat. I don't think you publish that enough. Dutton, on the other hand, how could you make fun of that man's appearance? But I had higher hopes for you, Dutton. Higher than pulling this shit. What a humiliating experience for Peter Dutton this would have been, getting smashed in question time so hard that you had to send out this brigade of women from your own party to the front line to take the shit for you. If you want to talk about disrespect, how about using women as human shields because you don't know your Queensland geography? He even had the gall to white knight for Michelle. I think it's evidenced by the fact that Michelle left the chamber essentially in tears and distraught. I'm sure it wasn't intentional because the fact is it conveyed what Labor would otherwise refer to in Tony Abbott's days as a misogynistic approach. But I think an apology to Michelle is warranted because I think his approach, frankly, was completely over the top. He just really crossed the line yesterday. Dutton, he was speaking to you. The speaker even reviewed the footage and found it wasn't bullying. I don't know, maybe Dutton was reading The Art of War, realising the Libs lost the election partly due to some of these cultural issues that the press blew up. The smarter warrior copies exactly what he's seen other warriors do in successful battles, and it doesn't adapt for current circumstances at all. But I think the silver lining here is that at least the press didn't eat this up as much as they did the Mean Girls narrative. Got a little bit of common sense coming from the unusual suspects. Butt Stuff Ben admitted it wasn't bullying, as did Peter Van Onselen. Didn't stop Ben from asking his audience to chime in. Is this bullying? And I just wanted to read out some of these comments because they're gold. Daryl writes, what a disgrace to Parliament this lowlife is, and shows his lack of respect for women in the Senate. So this is how he grew up in Housing Commission. Leaning how to yell and scream at women. Yeah, on your dad, you put those welfare recipients in their place. Glenn. All our politicians are poor examples of how people should act. What a waste. Glenn, watch your tongue. Like Albo has because he lost that weight, and yet you're not giving him any credit for it, are you? Montgomery writes, ooh, a classy name. That's very far away from the usual Pauls you get here. They're disgusting. Look at what they did to Kimberly, and this man sat back and let it happen. Instead of retribution, they were pre-moted. Angry emoji. How fitting. An angry face for the pre-moted Mean Girls. Ken. Well, Ken has to be at least 90 years old. No one's called Ken anymore. Jacqueline Hyde of the Marrickville Mauler is showing through here. I'm assuming he has dug himself a hole and funded his voice sham. Well, you gotta respect your elders, don't you? Even when they've clearly lost their minds. Gary writes, there's the Integrity Commission into behaviour like this. Oh, Gary, awesome. You said you got off Facebook. Yet another lie. This just keeps getting better for Albanese, though, doesn't it? Especially seeing is that now Dutton's 2025 election platform is just the internal monologue of a Redditor now with poor social skills. That's it. Albanese, stop making me feel bad about my mistakes. And why don't we have a discussion about nuclear energy? Oh, milady. And there you have it. The absolute worst thing that has happened to women in politics for quite some time. Peter Dutton got f***ing owned. Make sure that if you don't want to see this without the swear words, you check out Friendly Geordie's The Facts. That's just all the most important things of our videos, but with the F-bomb bleeped out so you can show it to your mum. And if you're cool, maybe you should check out the Friendly Geordie's podcast. Basically because I haven't mentioned it in a while. It does exist, and I'll see you another time with more products of mine that you can consume. Like my live show, of course. Make sure you see that, especially if you're a Melbourne. Tickets half price because it's a charity show and it's being filmed, so I all want you on your best behaviour. There should be no difference between you and the live audience of Mad About You.
Please share and comment below. Comment.